Before therapy, there were elders. Before diagnoses, there were divinations. Before self-help books, there were ancestral songs and dances and prayers. In this first episode, I'm taking you back to remember what mental health used to look like before it was a medical industry, and what it can still look like today if we choose. Let's go underground. Long before Western clinical treatment, there was us. Welcome to the Healing Underground, a sacred space where we remember what we've always known, reclaim what we've always had, and rise in all the ways that heal. My name is Ashley Edwards. I'm a mental health innovator, founder of MindRight Health, and initiated Ìyánífá in the West African spiritual tradition of Ifa. And if you've ever felt that the modern wellness industry is not made for all of who you are, then you're in the right place. Just remember, this podcast is not a lecture, it's a meditation. Let's begin. So why am I speaking about healing and why now? Well, I've built my career helping thousands of people heal, improve their mental health, and feel seen and heard, all through innovative models for care. I'm the founder and CEO of MindRight Health, one of the few and growing Black-owned mental health startups. At MindRight, we provide non-clinical mental health coaching via text message, meeting people where they are to get support. And at MindRight, we have one radical belief, that our communities can heal themselves. That's why instead of relying on clinical models, we empower community members and train them to support each other, both through joy and pain. And from building and scaling MindRight, from working with local schools to the biggest players in the U.S. healthcare industry, I can tell you one thing, this system is broken. And more than that, the system was never made for us. I've always believed and known that the answer lies beyond traditional Western treatment. And that's why, while I was building MindRight and raising venture capital funding, at the same time, I was also taking it upon myself to learn from indigenous healing practices. I completed an herbalism apprenticeship and became a trained herbalist in the art of spiritual herbalism and plant medicine. And after that, I traveled to Nigeria and became initiated as a Ìyánífá in the sacred West African spiritual tradition of Ifa. And now I walk in both worlds. I combine the wisdom of modern science as well as the wisdom from indigenous practices, because I know both are needed to truly move forward. Because how can we talk about innovation in digital health and creating new, equitable systems if we're not stopping to honor the indigenous and ancestral healing practices that have passed down and are part of why we're here today? Because at the end of the day, I believe we're defining mental health wrong. Healing is not about fixing, it's about remembrance and restoring people back to themselves and their roots. We need to reclaim the spirit and soul in mental health and healing. And that's why I started this podcast, The Healing Underground, because one truth I've learned from supporting so many people with their healing journey is that mental health is spiritual health. Because before therapy, we were in ceremony together. Before diagnoses, there were divinations and speaking with elders and getting guidance from the spirits. And it worked. How can we talk about decolonizing the wellness industry if we have not started the inner work of decolonizing our own spirits first? Because at the end of the day, healing is resistance, and history shows that. And healing is a freedom fight that everyone can be a part of. And it's important to frame healing in the context of resistance and liberation because of the harm that clinical systems have done. And one of those biggest harms is erasure. How can we talk about the best practices for treatment and mental health without acknowledging the healing practices that our communities have used, our same communities that have overcome and survived genocide, displacement, colonization, slavery, war? Are these not healing tools and methodologies and technologies that we can learn from? Are these not best practices? And why do we only talk about the generational curses and trauma instead of the abundance of generational wisdom that is abundant in our lineages? So this podcast is going to help you answer one core question. Why do we limit healing and mental health to one modality when our communities have always used many? Therapy is a gift, and it's a gift that I've also deeply benefited from. But it is not the only gift. It is not the only tool that we can use to move forward. And our choice in how we choose to heal and reclaim our joy is also a testament to our own sovereignty and self-determination and free will over our life. We have that choice. So why limit ourselves when we can choose to empower ourselves and broaden how we define mental health and mental health treatment? Because at the end of the day, like I've said, healing is about remembering who you are. It's about coming back to yourself and honoring who you see when you look in the mirror. It's a conversation daily about your identity and who you choose to be in this world, what you will or will not accept, and how you define yourself. And the biggest decision of your life is who you tell yourself you are. So who are you? Whatever you decide, just remember you do not need a clinical license to remember and honor that truth. Thank you for going underground with me. The journey doesn't stop here. If you'd like some extra support along the way, feel free to explore my free guided meditations. Or, if you're ready to have someone walk beside you on this journey, visit MindRight to start your healing. May your healing be sacred, may it be sovereign, and may it be yours.